Welcome to Live from Karjakistan. Today we drop in on a conversation I recently had with Alan the Professor Baker, founder of AMAC Tactical Group and best-selling author of The Warrior's Path, as he and I discuss his groundbreaking Vehicle Centric Defensive Tactics training and what the future holds for this innovative program.
Hey, Alan, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on?
I was thinking the other day, after we parted ways, about the Vehicle Centric Defensive Tactics program, VCDT, and where it started and where you've evolved it to, which is just phenomenal. I don't know if you recall, right? It was 11 years ago in San Diego that you and I first met and the idea of the VCDT started rolling.
Yeah, I think I interrupted a conversation you were having.
You were out there demonstrating your approach to defensive tactics. I remember asking, what about in a car? I mean, we know that's where the greatest risk is, in and around the vehicle.
I remember you saying right on the spot, why don't we go outside in the parking lot and figure it out?
Exactly, right? So there we are, right? Well, we spent about 2.5 hours in the parking lot.
It's one of the things we try to do is build things around environments, and you've created the opportunity to do that. You've allowed me to come up, go through the courses you do, get exposed to the environment, which has helped growing that program tremendously. Getting feedback from you, from the professionals that you work with, all of that has caused that program to change and grow over the years and become what it is.
You take a very similar approach to what we do with training, which is it should never be static. You never just create a course, put it out there and leave it.
Because the truth is information has to evolve. It's got to be moving forward, changing.
You were recently back through our program again, and you've seen how that's evolved. And a lot of that evolution has come from a better understanding of human performance and physiokinetics. And, like you do with your living mechanics program, we look at the movement of the driver in the vehicles. And so for us, VCDT is really another step in that evolution, because with the way technology is going in these cars today, the pendulum is swinging back towards a much more holistic approach to the security driver's job. Yeah, the soft skills are absolutely critical. Your evasive driving and whatnot, those are important too, because of the safety and security factor. Now with advanced driving assistance systems such as collision avoidance, automatic emergency braking, it's no more, hey, let's focus on that facilitation and soft skills. They're absolutely critical, but they're no more or less critical than not only evasive driving, but now defensive tactics.
One of the things that's really influenced me in the last couple of trips is exactly what you're talking about. That information, I never really looked at it from that angle, but now that I'm aware of it from the perspective of a protective driver, it's, it puts them in a difficult situation.
For a common potential scenario, you turn the corner with your principal and there's a large crowd of protesters. They see this higher end luxury vehicle, they swarm the car. The options are very limited now with today's technology is what you're going to do. You may be forced in a position where you have to defend yourself and the principal.
What you pointed out there was there's a crowd. I might have to get out of that vehicle, and I've got to protect myself to a certain level because I'm responsible for the client, but my ultimate goal is to get around that car and get to the client and get them to safety. As it's one of the reasons why the program we have is going from like a single class to a multi-phase class now.
Jay, Ryan, Joe V, they certainly identify and appreciate that phased approach, right? Because there is a lot to consider. Even for somebody who's a well-practiced, experienced martial artist, there's a lot to consider when you're in or around that vehicle.
It's a unique equation.
Even now with the spike in carjacking, let's face it, most of our students and our clients are operating vehicles that are on the list of vehicles targeted by carjackers. So it creates some unique challenges for the practitioner. Principal is in the back, or the principals and their children, any number of scenarios, that driver may have to defend themselves in order to continue to protect the principal. VCDT, having watched it evolve over the last 11 years from a program that, we as VDI were bringing to primarily our government and military clients, to now the need expanding across our entire client base. Quite honestly, I don't think 10 years ago I would have predicted that would be the case.
One other thing too, and we discussed this last time, is the gap that you normally see between defensive tactics and shooting. Normally you go over here to the classroom, you do those defensive tactics. Next day you go out on the range and it's a completely different element. There's always a gap between the two of them. It's like, how do I connect them? And that's another area that we're putting together now, is to bring those two closer together.
That's where we're like-minded, right? Is how do we close those gaps? How do we integrate programs so that it makes sense and brings value to the student in their day-to-day work? And when we left that instructor development program a few weeks back, the energy was so high, and it's still high. You've got Jay with more than 20 plus years of experience teaching defensive tactics and combatives to military and law enforcement. Ryan with his federal law enforcement background and his agency's mission, which is focused on in those confined space scenarios. So, and have them with all of their depth of experience and knowledge, so energized and excited.
I know if I can make professionals like that tilt their head and make their pen move in a notebook, I'm doing my job.
We're looking forward to getting down to AMAC in March, working with your team to show them how we filled out the framework that you've given us for VCDT. And then, of course, you doing the VCDT, and then Dennis Russo is going to be doing his vehicle counter ambush firearms skills. And we're really excited to see how those two programs blend together and how you fill that transition gap from hand to hand to firearms.
Dennis, he's great. He's like-minded. He is a perpetual student. He'll come in, we'll get together and, do the mental grind. Why is it this way? How can we change it? How can it improve? Why does it follow these rules? How, quite honestly, how do we break them? Because, that's part of the process of evolving something and pushing it, to a level it's never been before. That and interaction with, individuals like yourself and the people that you work with. So it's going to be a fun weekend.
I really appreciate the fact that Dennis has, really embraced your philosophy, again, that mirrors ours, which is we look at what exists, we look at what we're doing through a critical lens. Are we doing everything we can? And I know you guys look at it and you're looking at techniques and tactics and saying, well, why do we do this? Does it make sense to do that?
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be involved with you guys too. And also additionally, lots of fun, because I get to come up and expose myself to what you guys do, which is always a blast.
Thanks again for all you're doing with us. We're looking forward to rolling this program out this year and evolving it. So you stay safe, give your team our best, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Joe.
So, just a little insight there into Alan Baker's Vehicle Centric Defensive Tactics program, how the concept came about, how he evolved it over the past decade, and what role VDI has played in that entire process, and of course the role we'll play going forward as the VDI team presents Alan Baker's Vehicle Centric Defensive Tactics program in 2022 and beyond. For more information, go to our website at www.vehicledynamics.com, and we look forward to training with you in the near future. Until then, stay safe.